Hey everyone, I hope everything is going well with you. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to turn this program into a very useful one. And I'm going to do that by applying some special functionalities, such as wrapping this entire program in a while loop and executing this project every certain amount of time, and also apply some filtrations to filter out the job posts that are not meeting the skills that I own. And also I'm going to throw the results of the different job posts into a new blank file so I can be aware of the posts that are being posted every certain amount of time. So let's get started. Alright then, so let's start with a kind reminder of the results that we got until that point from the last episode. Okay, so we run our program now, and if we show it right here, you can see that those lines are not aligned well. So I'm going to change that, and I'm also going to provide some extra information that will show us the exact link of the specific job that we are iterating on. So that way I will have the ability to just click on the link and then see more information about that job. So as a beginner, I will get rid of the formatted string in that case, because doing a formatted string with a triple quote might not be a great idea when you execute it with a for loop, because as you can see that it also includes the indentations right here. So I'm going to delete this entire code here, and I'm going to write two more new formatted strings, and we will start with company name. Make that to be equal to company name, so make sure to add a colon here so it will be more friendly. And then I will write here required skills as well, and then we will write here the skills variable. Now there was one more issue with the result that we showed a minute ago, and that was the blank spaces that are being shown as well. So we can get rid of the spaces by a special method that is called strip, and it is a special method that you are allowed to use inside strings. And since the company name and the skills are strings by default, I don't have to convert them to a string, so I can just call that method like this. Okay, and now I will show the results of something like the following, and in a few seconds we will see that this is aligned way better than what it was. And I'm also going to add here more information line that will show the link of the job post. So let's do that. Okay, let's go here and write this functionality. Okay, so if you remember from the last episode, we had an unordered list that inside of that we had some different HTML tags that are called li, and that stands for list, and they are actually different job posts that are divided into different elements inside an unordered list. And then if we hover our mouse, you can see that there are different jobs. Now if I go inside one of them and I go inside a header tag that is actually the first header of the li tag, and then I will go inside the h2 here, and then you can see that we have a link that could lead us to a link that provides some extra information about that specific job. So if I actually go here and click on here, you can see that we receive the job description right here. So what we have to do in order to access this link in each job post that we are iterating on the Python code is actually going inside a header and then going inside one more tag with a kind of h2 as you saw me doing that, and then access that a tag. So let's do that. Okay, I'm going to go back to PyCharm and apply this functionality. So we will go under the skills, and then we will write here more info, and that will be equal to job.header, because this was the first tag that we want to go inside of it. And then we want to go inside the h2, and then inside that h2 we want to go inside the a tag. Now before we go further, let's test ourselves that we have done a great job. So let's print the more info in the following way. So it will be more info, and then we will call the variable in a formatted string. Now let's execute our program. And then you can see that inside the more info, we have the ahref, which gives us the link about the specific job that we are iterating on. So all I have to do here is going back to my more info and then call that href attribute. So this time I'm going to do that with a square bracket like in dictionaries, and then I'm going to write here href, so I will receive the value of that attribute. So if I run that one more time, then I should see the link only, and that is what exactly happening. So the result is quite great, and then you can see that this is already better than what we did in the last episode, and we will continue from here. Okay, so what I want to do now is giving the opportunity for the user that executes this program to filter out some skill requirement that he does not own. So we will use the input function for that, and then whatever the input is equal to, we will filter out the result from the jobs that we are finding right here. Okay, so let's write this functionality. So to apply this, I'm going to create a new variable over here, and I'm going to call it unfamiliar skill, and I'm going to make that to be equal to an input, and then I'm going to write here something like this. Okay, so the user could understand that he has to provide some information in order to execute this program. And actually, it might be a great idea to print some extra information before that input function. So it will be print, put some skill that you are not familiar with, and then right after the unfamiliar skill input, I will write here filtering out, and we will actually make that a formatted string, and then we will write here filtering out, and then whatever the unfamiliar skill is equal to. Now, what are we going to do with this unfamiliar skill variable? So that is quite easy, right? We have to search for a condition that will filter out the job post that is including that word that we are going to provide here as an unfamiliar skill. And what we can actually do is search for the unfamiliar skill word inside the skills string. So if you remember, the skills is a long string that is divided with commas. So we can go with a condition like the following. So it will be if unfamiliar skill not inside the skills that we are grabbing in the each job post that we are iterating. And now all what we have to do here is creating the indentation for the different print lines. Okay, so now I should see the job posts that are not including the unfamiliar skill that I'm going to provide. So just to test that out, let's run our program twice. Okay, so in the first we are going to write here Linux as a skill that I'm not familiar with, and you can see that we don't see anything that is including the keyword of Linux over here. But let's actually take that to a next level and test that out. So we see here a specific job post that is including Django. So let's say that I am not familiar with Django, and see next time if I see that job post with this company name. So let's re-execute our program, and that time I will write Django, and let's see the results. So we can see that we don't have any job with Django, but we do have Linux that time. So this condition works well, and we will continue on to next step from here. Now, what could be an exciting challenge for you guys is to write an algorithm that will accept more than one unfamiliar skills. So you want to accept multiple inputs from a user, and it might be more challenging, but I think you should try to spend some time on something like this, because I think this could be an amazing challenge for everyone who is watching this video. Alright, so now we are going to save each job post in a different file. So besides printing this in the terminal, then we are going to write this entire information in a separated file, and then I will also allow this program to run every 15 minutes or every 10 minutes, up to you, and I will show this logic as well. So first, it makes sense to wrap our entire program in a function, and I'm going to do that by collecting everything that is kind of pulling the information from the website, and I'm going to indent everything one step aside, and then I'm going to write here def find jobs. Okay, so that way we have one function that executes our main program, and then what I'm going to do here is using the logic of if double underscore name is double underscore main, so that way if you want to extend this program only if this file is ran directly, then this function will be executed. Now if you don't know what I said about if double underscore name equals double underscore main, then I have a video that explains this condition, so you can check that out by the suggested link above. So let's write here if double underscore name equals to double underscore main inside a string, and then write here while true. So I want to run this program forever, and then I will call the find jobs, and right after it, since I don't want this program to being executed like every millisecond, then I'm going to write here time.sleep. So time.sleep allows your program to wait certain amount of time that you decide, and you can provide its argument by seconds. So I'm going to write here 600 just to make that program to run every 10 minutes. But you can notice how we did not import the time library, so let's do that by import time. Okay, and then this program should be okay. Now to make this more dynamic, I actually prefer to make some variable here that will be equal to 10, and then I will just make that to be equal to time wait multiplied by 60, and right after it we can provide some extra information. Excuse me, this should be over here, and we can write here waiting. Let's make it formatted. Then we can write here waiting time wait seconds, and let's write 3 dots here. Great, so this is great. So if I'm executing this program, I expect to see this program running every 10 minutes. So I'm inside my command line interface, and you can see that my directory has been already set to the directory where we worked. So I can go with Python and then execute the name of the file by calling it. So it will be main.py. And then once I run that, you can see that we receive this output, and then I have to provide some information that is going to be filtered out, and then let's write here Django again, and you can see that we receive the results successfully, but more important, we see that waiting 10 seconds, which is not great. We have to change that to waiting 10 minutes because we are waiting 10 minutes, right? But the program works great. It was just my mistake by writing here seconds, so it should be minutes for sure. But I'm not going to wait 10 minutes until this program is running one more time, and so I will allow myself to move on to writing this information inside file. So it makes sense to write this kind of information in a separated directory. So I will go inside my web scraping tree file, folder, and then I'm going to create here new directory, which is going to be named as posts. And then I'm going to write here some extra functionality that will create files, text files, and then inside each text file, I'm going to write this exact information. So you can do that by with open. I already showed you how you can do that in the first episode. Now I know that I don't have any separated tutorial about working with files in Python, but you want to consider check out my channel. Maybe I will upload very soon. So you can go here, and that time I want to put here information, and I will call my post directory, and then inside here I have to provide my file name that I'm going to create. Now before I move on here, I thought about changing my for loop here and use the enumerate function. Now enumerate function is going to allow us to iterate over the index of the jobs list and also the job content itself. And so I have to provide here one more variable like index. So the index is going to be a kind of counter for the job that I'm iterating on, and then the job variable will relate to the job beautiful sub object itself. And so it makes sense to name our files with the index of the job that I'm iterating on. So I will change this into a formatted string, and then I will write here index.txt. So it will be something like the following, and I expect each my text file to be named like 0.txt or 1.txt and so on. Now the second argument will be the permission level that you want to give when you create or open a new file. And this time I'm going to write here W, and that stands for writing inside a file. And then I have to use the as statement, and I'm going to use the f variable. So inside that block I can write to a file with the f variable. And I'm going to go inside my with open, and I'm going to create indentation of the prints, and I'm going to delete this print line here, and it makes sense to remove this blank space as well. And all I have to do here is changing this print statement to f.write, and then that time I'm not going to print the results in the command line interface. Besides, I'm going to write the information in a new file. So I'm going to use the combination of Alt Shift here, and I'm going to change those entire three prints to f.write. Okay, and then I'm going to open the parentheses so it will be closed by those. And then I expect for each job to being written inside a file. And once I do that, it might be a great idea to print a sentence like file saved, and then you can provide the name of the file as an extra information. So I will create one more time formatted string, and then I will relate to that index variable. And now our program is complete. So let's check it. Okay, let's go back to our command line interface, and let's actually control break this program, and let's write CLS to clear our terminal. And then I'm going to re-execute my program. So it will be python main.py, and then I'm going to execute it. So let's see this time. I'm going to write Django as well. And that time I don't expect to see output for the information. Besides, I expect to see this. Okay, so let's see what is inside each of our files. So let's see what is inside that post directory. Okay, so I'm going to go inside my C Python TUT web scraping tree, and then the post directory that we created a few minutes ago. And you can see that inside of that we have our text files. But if I go here inside, let's see if the results are okay. Okay, so I'm not quite satisfied with that, because it might be a greater idea to see that like this. Okay, so you might want to divide those information in separated lines, but that is not going to be complex. So we just have to go inside our Python again. And then whenever we write to the file, we have to use that convention where you can just jump a line, and that will be \n. So when you provide \n inside a string, it is just a convention that is going to jump to the next line right after it. So it will be \n for the first line, and then also here. And let's run this program one more time. So I'm just going to break the program and re-execute it. So that time I will write Linux, and then let's test our results one more time. So let's go inside our 19.txt, and then you can see that the information is right there, just like we expected. Okay, so this is quite great. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this entire series, and you can find everything that we have done here by the links in the description. Of course, I will provide extra information in my website about this series. So if you like this video, consider subscribing and also hit the like button. I will see you in my future uploads.